Really? 30? Yeah. Felt like that.
It was.
We're talking about the Melisandre hounds Arya scene where she finally finds out her purpose of killing
I
them.
think she realized her purpose when she was lighting the logs. That she had to make that bond with the Lord of the Light when she was lighting the logs and they weren't lighting, and she's like, damn it. Okay, fine, you can have my life. And then they lit.
Oh yeah, because Sansa and Arya were looking at that scene. You remember, you guys, where she was like, "Oh,
yeah.
I watch this," right? Oh, that makes sense.
And right after that, Arya sit her down.
And she was party that night.
She was looking side to side at the whites, like, "Ooh, they're coming for me! They're coming for me!" And then it lit.
Yeah,
that was perfect.
And I think that's when she figured out that she had to die. I think she kind of just was saying it in like passing, like somehow she's gonna get through it. And then when she had to make that pact to light the moat, I think that was like the final nail in her coffin.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah.
Have you seen the meme with her necklace on the ground, and then the Onion King is looking at it, and then he's all pretty?
I hadn't seen that.
It's funny. Here, I'll send it to you, and you can send it to your friends.
Okay, well, she'll send it to us.
Okay, well, have a good night, ladies. It was very nice meeting all of you.
Okay, honey. Take care. Nice to meet you.
It was so nice meeting you. Thanks for coming on.
That makes sense, though, eh? Like, in my drunken stupor of watching the episode, I didn't even think she was right in that moment. I'm like, you're stupid. Shut up.
Am I telling you?
No, it did, because you saw the flames in her eyes, too, and I love that, because that's Melisandre, looking into the flames, misreading them, or sometimes reading them correctly. It's really cool to see the flames in her eyes like that. We got a bunch of comments. I'm just reading that.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're pretty much at where Arya, now Barracks died, Arya, and I guess we're going out to Bran. Well, I mean, John's running around. Jorah's first. Jorah and Dany are first.
It was a quick scene between Bronn and the guardsmen. He basically like looks back at him, and then the others are coming through the castle. Like they're walking up to the castle opening. That's basically it.
And I have a question here. Now, I don't know because this is right where I expected the Kings of Winter to rise up and fight, right? I mean, I did. I don't know if anybody else did, but I did. And I don't know because
the living.
Right. So there were white punching through the walls, and maybe from the tunnels. I don't know how they'd be punching through the walls.
Was from their crypts. That was their bones in their crypts. It was them punching through the walls of their crypts.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you. Because I saw a big stone hand.
After the Night King raised all of those that were killed in battle, he raised them up. That's when the ones in the crypts started coming back to life and punching through the crypts. But it wasn't all of them, because there's a lot of Starks down there. There's armies worth of Starks in the crypts. I think it must have only been the ones with the rusted swords where the iron was rusted too. I don't know. That's just my thinking.
Well, that's true, though, Nan. That's a good point, because Hodor took the oldest sword, did he not, when they left the crypts, and they took swords, Mira and Bran and Hodor, or Mira and Hodor, I guess. So, yeah, that's true. So 2 or 3 kings were left unprotected. So guest right was pretty much broken. So the whites could have come in. And that kind of makes sense now. Because, I mean, you're right. So because all I saw was a big stone hand grab a guy around the neck. And I thought, is that a King of Winter? That's so cool, because I was waiting for them. Waiting for them to come out.
Well, they came out and scared and killed a bunch of people and scared a bunch more. That's why I say it couldn't have been all of them, because there wouldn't have been any corner for them to have hid. You know, where Varys and them were hiding at. They couldn't
And
have.
Varys had blood all over his face.
Exactly. He scratched at least, you know. So he didn't come without anything, you know.
Yeah, it almost looked like Tyrion, you know, that I'll wait for Steffi to come back for this, but that beautiful little almost Romeo and Juliet scene with Bran or with Tyrion and Sansa was so cool. I love that. But the thing about it was, when Tyrion it looked like he got up and ran around the crypt to go fight, but maybe not. Maybe he just kind of took a breath and that was it. But somebody protected them, and it wasn't anybody down there. Nobody, you know, it wasn't the little girl that looked like Shireen. It was definitely the Kings of Winter.
No, they wasn't. The Kings of Winter were trying to kill them. I mean,
That's
the ones
so cool.
That's what I thought anyway.
That's, you know, I had to rewatch it, and because my husband said, yeah, they came out, they were punching through the crypts, and I was like, okay, that's what was punching through. But it looked like, you know, because I know the whites have black hands, you know, the whole cold hands thing. So they have black hands, and it was really perfect to have them do that. I was hoping to God they would do that. And I see spots, it's true. You were the best of them line was one of my favorites too. I love that line. Sansa telling Tyrion he was the best. That was just so sweet. Sansa and Tyrion laying on against that crypt. Like she got the dragonglass dagger out, like, I'll stab you and then I'll stab myself, like Romeo and Juliet. I thought that was so sweet. And then he kissed her hand.
I thought they pulled out the daggers together, both of them. She pulled hers and then he pulled his, which was so small.
He did, Yeah, it took me until the third time to see that.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in. I don't know how far you guys have gone. Like, I went to get a drink, chat, and then like my sister intercepted me, and then that was it. Like, I just went to get a drink, literally a drink. Okay. Okay, so we have the dragon battle. Jaime notices they're inside the wall because of Jon and his stupidity. And then we have the others come into Winterfell, Godswood, Jon going back for Bran because he's on the ground now.
Right.
Godswood, Joy defends Dany, and then the Crypts of Winterfell. That's how I was gone for like a second. Where did you guys go?
We went straight to the crypt, but you're right. Dany said go, but he said Bran. Jon said Bran, and Dany said go. So he started running. And I thought, oh my God, are they really going to fight, you know, man to man? Are they going to do it? That would have been so cool. But no, of course, Jon gets surrounded by whites again, and then we don't know how he gets out. But he's there, and he's still not getting to Bran. So I still don't get what who the princess that was promised was, but whatever. So yeah.
I think the prince that was promised was Bran. I'm just gonna say that right now because he lost Hodor, he lost his direwolf. I feel like that was the prince that was promised, right?
The last hero, yeah.
The last green seer, the last everything. Like it was Bran this entire time. I really have to rewatch the series to see how they piece it together. But again, it's D&D, and they have their own stamp on stupidity on it. So, like, George R. R. Martin might do it a lot. George R. R. Martin is going to do it a hell of a lot better, but that's how I feel. Okay, so when it came, see, I'm going to just throw like a bunch of shit at you guys right now, or ladies. Okay, the Night King blowing a hole into the wall of Winterfell, I found that really stupid. And it's kind of like the wall. You wish the wall didn't go down like that, with Viserion just like blowing it. Like we talked about this in our previous thing. You can go to the She Bolts of Winterfell site and check that out, lady or chat, because that's where we were supposed to have this, but someone sent out a warning and we got shut down on that site, so we jumped on here, right? So sorry, chat. Like, I know you guys were supposed to be here. Plexi, huge shout out to you. I know you wanted to watch this. Like it just sucks that you weren't here at this time. Like, I so wish you were. But the Night's King and Viserion breaking a hole into Winterfell, I feel like when the whites were like basically piling themselves up, like I understand the unbelievability in that scene, but like if Viserion wanted to break through a wall, like that would have been the opportune moment too, because then they wouldn't have had to climb the wall. Like it was very stupid. Like when you like look back and forth between the scenes, like that's D&D's fault for being that stupid in that moment. The dragon battle scene. I know you guys are limited in budget and resource. I wish that scene would have lasted like half the episode. I wish half the episode was that. But again, Bran was only entered into the Dragon Kings, or not the Dragon Kings, the Night. I guess you can call them both, depending on like your theory or whatever. But the Night King's mind during that scene, right? Because the Theon scene where he's like, I'm going somewhere, right? And Theon's like, where? And then obviously he's fighting the Night's King in his mind after that point, because he's like, we're fucked if I don't do this. So that scene was epic, right? Like, you notice here, like all the holes that are punched in by Rhaegal into Viserion's neck, and where those fire holes come out, like the blue ice fire comes out after. Rhaegal bites Viserion's jaw in this moment, which you really have to watch this scene, because you notice it, because he clamps down on it and he like rips it off and he's like screw that, right? Like this scene is a highlight to the rest of the TV community. You have miles and miles to go to even get if you're interested in your shit. So then Rhaegal falls to the ground. Dany ends up pushing the Night's King off. I really don't understand that scene, because it harkens back to, I forget the guy's name. He does the genetics for everything. Someone in the chat mentioned it. The genetics, the dragon genetics. Peter Jackson or Jackson. You guys know?
No, it's the Lord of the Rings guy.
No, not the Lord of the Rings guy. I'm talking about a theorist in the Game of Thrones community. Peter.
Preston Jacobs, or
Preston Jacobs.
Yeah, Preston Jacobs does the
When I turned down his Sansa throws her outfit out when Lysa gets thrown from the tower and she burns it. That's my theory, anyways. But he says that she throws the shoe down and that they're going to end up finding that she killed Lysa or whatever because her shoe's in there. I said the wind, rain, everything. Like, you're talking about the Night's King has a blizzard going on right now. You think his spear would fall down right beside him? It just seems really stupid. Right? In that scope of the scene, that's what I was remembering. Like, me bashing Preston Jacob because this shoe would travel and wolves would eat it and birds would peck at it and everything. Right? And then this spear falls down right beside the Night's King in this scene, right? Obviously we knew as watchers that the scene of Dracarys in that big ample moment wasn't going to work because he's walked through fire before. Like, it was nothing to them. right? Like it was really stupid, and I feel like this should have been solved before. I feel like we mentioned this a long time ago. Like all of us mentioned it. It should have been solved when Danny saw or John saw that lineup of the other commanders, where he should have just caught the whole line at the back when they were like mind hiding the rest of them, right? The undead. I just found that stupid. Danny again, like, and this is the huge if and buts. Like, I feel like in the books this would be a huge tension. Like, don't hit the dragon, don't hit the dragon, don't hit the dragon. You've got right. Like, I feel like in the books this would mean a lot more than in the show, because you knew in the show, like, oh, it's not gonna hit him, right? The piece when the Night King resurrects everybody, I feel like the Night King doesn't even have to deal with John. Everyone in the community is like, oh, the Night King's a pussy for raising the dead to not face John. And in my head, I'm like, why does the Night King feel John is worthy to face him?
Right. Yeah.
Right? Like, why?
I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
Twice
Yes, why he faced the dead. He wasn't. He was more concerned with killing Bran than he was with John. And it seemed very obvious. But they were all about killing life. You know, they're out to kill everybody. So he just relegated that to the others instead of doing it himself. I don't think he was concerned about John at all. I agree with you.
I think
twice he's raised the dead in front of John. He's raised them up, looking right at John. Why?
Yeah,
I
just like at the battle of the where the
Hardhome,
where he did that. They had the big stare down.
Hardhome, yeah.
Hardhome, yes.
Like, come at me, bro. That the memes, right? That were produced.
Yeah.
But
same exact moment.
The thing with the show is John could have went back and been like, we're gonna have a trial by combat right now, you fucking bitch, right? Like, sorry my French, everyone in the chat, like, I'm a sailor on shore leave, you're gonna have to forgive me. But like, that's how I felt. Like, John chickened out in that first scene because he didn't know what he was up against. You really gonna go back and fight the Night King this time? No, you're a chicken, you're a bitch. Right? No, you're not gonna get the second chance. Screw you, right? Like, no, you're nothing to me now. You had your chance. You had your chance to stick your balls down and swing your dick, and you fucking didn't. You didn't. You pushed it out.
True. It's true.
So,
I mean, he's at a showdown. Yeah.
No, go, Ash, go.
It's so true. It just infuriated me. It was like, okay, John's running just like he was after Rickon, just like he was at Hardhome. And then there he is raising the dead and John's surrounded. It's like, oh, come on. If you can kill like 100 whites surrounding you, you can get to the Night King and you can get to Bran in the Godswood before Arya can. Come on. Yeah, it was kind of
especially
just like, what? Why
he mows them down for you. Especially when Danny mows them down for you.
Right. Yeah, and it seemed like he survived the fire too, just like the Night King did. Like, I mean, the Night King even smiled, like, you punk, my God. He was just like, but John still almost, it looked like John would have caught fire too. But, you know, he is ice and fire. Does that mean he's immune to fire too? Because it sure looked like it.
Not
it sure looked like it. Yeah. Yeah, our chat's going, Sarah saying it was a cheap move on the Night King's part. It was
no, it wasn't. But bro,
cheap move on D&D's part.
No, John pussied out the first time. He didn't deserve a second chance. Try to man up.
I agree.
Right? Try to man up the first time. Okay? Be happy that he even gave Bran a conversation in the end. That's how I look at it. He should have just taken the dagger off like this. Okay, honestly. Like,
yeah, the thing.
Who are you? who the hell are you to even come to my power? Right? I can resurrect the dead
Right.
and 100,000 plus people. Who the hell are you? And a dragon to boot. Like, who the hell are you?
Right.
Like, screw you. No, go back to your flipping. Go suck a teat. Go suck old man's teat. Like, honestly.
Oh, go back to
I
your
didn't enjoy that, right? I felt like John was off to the side of the flame. I feel like John, though, I don't think he's immune to fire. I don't think so. I think he is
I don't
fire and
either.
ice.
They made it look like it. It was
Like he was close. Like he was close to Ember.
everywhere. His face
Well,
is blackened. It's okay. I mean, I don't know. I felt like he might have survived that icy pond or that icy lake, above the wall when they went to get the white last season. He was under there for a long time. So maybe he's immune to ice or cold like Danny is immune to fire. But I don't think he's immune to fire.
I don't think he is either.
See, this is
It
where
just
the
looked
Preston
like it.
Jacob theory comes in handy. The chat, like whoever ends up watching this video, watch Preston Jacobs. I think it's like a 4-part series where he does it over like weeks too. Like when we were first originally in this community, he does it over weeks, like years and years ago. He does it over weeks, and what he says is that John has the Dragon Rider gene, but he has the X chrome or the Y chromosome from his Stark genes, which is the warging gene. So he doesn't have the Targaryen gene from Rhaegar. He has the Lyanna gene, right?
Right.
So it doesn't match up to Danny's fireproofness. It matches up to another thing. Like you can't make an immortal, right? Unless you have 2 immortals. You know what I mean? Right, which is never going to happen. So
right.
Chat.
It comes from that Preston did that long one on I don't remember what it was called, but he did that long video series on
Ice and Fire, wasn't it? Genetics of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, probably the genetics of ice and fire of the chromosome coming from the mother, and then the looks coming from the father, like the power, coming from the mother. But yeah, you're right. Actually, the chat said, he burned his hand in saving Jorah Mormont. So no, he's not fireproof. It just was so. I think it was a lame scene for them to have her burn all the whites around him and have him survive. It just wouldn't happen.
I posted it in the chat. Because it is. I posted it in the chat because it is one of the best things. He goes through 300 years of Targaryen lineage. You got to give him credit for like what he does. Like that was an impressive video. Like Studley. Awesome.
Yeah, I like Preston's videos.
That's not the first time they've done that, though. They did that also at the Battle of Beyond the Wall. When they were on the rock, she came in and burned the whites around him and all, and they made it look the same way as they did to the Sunday, with them everything being burned around him like that. So they've done it before.
I'm sure you're right.
But everyone else was there, like that whole Barrack, Hound, like everyone was there. So it wasn't just John that was supposed to be immune. It was further away. But what Ashley is saying is that John was so close to the embers, it would have caught fire to him in some form or some way that would have made him burn. But he was like somehow immune. Like it kind of like he almost had like an aura about him, all right, like a shield, right? That only has so much, but like when it comes to actually touching it, like Danny, it doesn't work, right? He doesn't have that.
Right. Yeah.
I think that's called
kind of what it felt like.
I think it's called fan service thing.
Yeah, and plot armor.
Joe, how many times has he come so? He's actually died at least once, possibly twice in this cold. And when he fell in the water, I mean, I would have drowned. I couldn't have been under that long.
Would have hypothermia by doing that.
That's the same thing with Beric and all the rest of them. They survive for a reason. Beric preaches to them that they're all there for a reason. Well, everyone who survived to date is there for a reason, and their journey has brought them there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, by the way, how cool is Gendry with the Warhammer? I just have to say that. And Pod and his training, and Brienne commanding the troops. I loved that. I just loved watching her. She was fabulous.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they lived. Now,
Me
if
too,
Tyrion and die from Bronn, they'll be all right.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think we're going to see a scene where Bronn is going to come to Jaime and Tyrion and go, how funny is it that your stupid sister gave me all the money first? I'm a sellsword. Are you kidding? Ha ha. I got the money. And Tyrion will just give him a lordship, another castle.
Bronn's gonna end up marrying the queen. That's how good he is. Get shit done.
Yeah. Screw Harry Strickland, because really in the books, we have to go there. Harry Strickland is they go to great lengths, George does in the books, to say Harry Strickland is not good in battle. He's not a fighter. He leads the Golden Company, but he's not a good fighter. That's what Harry Strickland's all about.
In the books,
And
he's like
a golden
man. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, he's an idiot.
Like, why are you putting this sexy guy in Harry Strickland's place? He's supposed to be like old and decrepit and like on and scared of everything. Like, what are you doing?
That's what I thought, Steffi. Because he is like old and decrepit from the description in the book. And when Tyrion and Jorah are with him, what is it? Tyrion and says, "Be prepared to turn the coat." At the Battle of Meereen. So anyway, go ahead, Ash. You're muted, honey.
Okay, hold on. I'll jump in. Okay, so the Crips. Yeah, but you're right. Like the Harry Strickland thing was so stupid. We'll bash him in the next episode. Don't even worry.
Yeah, he looks just like Jaime. That's it. That's all it's about.
It's so stupid. Okay, so the Crips. I found that scene really, really stupid. I did, because there's no way that bones are gonna break through like concrete and like granite and like not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Okay, you want me to believe that they can climb like 80 on a 100-foot wall? Okay, fine. I'll use a little imaginary stuff to say that they climb on top of each other, right? Bone on top of bone, whatever, right? But this, I don't like these like 100 and plus years Starks punching through the thing and then coming back to life. You don't even have like, where is your mind? Like, isn't it already decayed and eaten by maggots and shit like that? Like, don't tell me you can work in like a hive mind into these things, right? Like skin change into no, you're a pussy. No. Like, it's not happening.
Down there for a reason. Isn't it supposed to have broken tradition by putting Lyanna down there and all that stuff? I mean,
no,
there was something.
Lyanna was down there. She was the queen of the 7 kingdoms, is why she deserved a place there.
No,
that's what I think too. But Ned did break tradition by not. They were just supposed to all be kings of winter.
No, they said in the books that other Starks were allowed in there depending on their honor, right?
That's right.
Honor was the Tully name, right? So it was depending upon their honor that they were allowed in there. The Cat's buried in there, despite not being a Stark herself. So it's weird.
No, Cat's still running the Riverlands.
Yep, and now she's in the crypts.
And there's like another thing that I hated. Sansa at the beginning of the episode says, "I will not abandon my people." And in this moment, she's like, "Fuck that! I'm fucking abandoning my people. Screw you all.
Hide behind the crypt
I'm gonna take my little swing and take her and put her all in the fucking corner. No, nothing finds me. Like that lasted long. Like, go
And the
ahead.
little Shireen girl, I'll protect the crypts then, you know, and then she's just huddled there with Forrest. Like, of course she's, I mean, it was supposed to be more like the scene where Cersei and Tommen were sitting on the Iron Throne thinking Tywin was going to lose and she was going to poison him and all that. But it didn't quite work the way they did it. Just didn't. Even though I
you know what?
Go, Cynthia.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just going to say that the one scene we haven't covered is Jorah and Dany.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Who waited for Steffi on that?
Hold on, I'm not done with this scene yet.
Okay, go ahead.
So when it comes to it, right, and Sansa says, "Well, I'm not going to abandon these people," and she has the ice dagger in her hand. That's like a little while later, but we'll go into that right now. So I swear Sansa was going to stab her heart, and she was going to become the Ice Queen, and she was going to rule the North. She was going to rule the North, and she was going to be, fuck Dany, I got my wife. Those are my people.
Right.
Like, screw you, bitch.
Yep, that's what I thought. The minute she got it out, I was like, she's gonna stab herself, and she's gonna stab Tyrion, and then stab herself, and she's gonna become the Ice Queen. Yeah, but nope.
Lion, what is it? It was like forged water, lion, and then the heart of like your wife. But if Sansa's supposed to resemble the War of the Roses and the House of Tudor and Queen Elizabeth, technically it would have been her own heart that she would have stabbed. Technically, because she was a virgin, right? So it would have been herself.
Yeah.
So that makes it like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know. It's supposed to. I mean, that really is. Go ahead, Nan. Sorry.
You're saying that, but if Tyrion had stabbed her in the heart, he would have had the blazing sword. Is that what you're saying?
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that Sansa the blade, the Lightbringer, was tempered first by water. Whatever the water would have been, who the fuck knows. But then it was tempered by a lion, the first death, right? The first actual death. And then it was tempered by the heart of a wife. But if your wife is yourself, like Nisa is yourself, you would have stabbed yourself.
Right.
Right? Producing Lightbringer and bringing light to the long night. Or being Azor Ahai yourself. Yeah. They dropped so many hints to the prophecy in this that, like, every moment you're like, oh my god, what's this? What's this? What's this? What's what? Like, that's how it was, right? Like, you're like, oh my god, this moment. Oh my god, this moment. So it was supposed to be herself that she was going to stab because she would have been Queen Elizabeth I, stabbing herself because she was a virgin.
Ah,
that's what I was thinking she was going to do.
Oh, okay. I didn't
just stab Tyrion and then stab herself. He's a lion.
I didn't think that. I didn't get that. I mean, I understand that. I associate with that lion and the water, the lion, and then the wife being with the Nisa prophecy. But it's like I said, it's a shell game. There's so many of them out there. It's like pick up a shell and see where the pea is. It could be in to reach any of them.
True. How many times has George told us not to trust prophecy? So there we go. But Jorah's death, okay, let's get to Jorah's death because that was quite, I thought, I mean, for the whole time, whatever Jorah's been, whatever he's done in the past, he protected his queen till the end. And I loved the way he died. They gave him a great death. And he fell down and said, I'm hurt. And I loved how Drogon came and just put his wings over them both. It was sweet. Stayed with his queen till the very, very end.
Okay, so I'm gonna jump in here. Okay, so right before the scene, I'm sorry, Ash. I wish I could follow this scene, but I gotta tie it back before answering that. So
Okay.
It goes from John saying, "Oh, I gotta go to Danny," and Danny's Drogon is being stabbed, and I thought that was a thousand, 100 cuts to death, right? Like the old style, but instead it was 1,000 cuts by whites. I thought that was it was that parallel. I thought that was beautiful. Thank God Drogon
nice
survived.
Parallel to 1-1 too. 1-1 with the whites all over him. It was a nice parallel to that too.
Definitely call out to 1-1. And then Jorah comes to rescue Danny. But then it hops back to John trying to go through Winterfell. Like he's running through Winterfell to get to Bran because he tells Danny that. Right? He's like, Bran, right? And Johnny's like, go. At first I thought, no, right? Like, no, you're an idiot. Stop. You're not gonna save him. You're an idiot. Stop. But anyways, John ends up running through. In Winter, this scene was probably the most epic. Winterfell is destroyed. You're talking about walls down. There's whites everywhere. Like it's fucked. Like everything's caved in and everything. Roose Bolton didn't have to really build this. It's going to be them that's going to have to rebuild it. Like whoever was left over from this battle, and it's like completely destroyed. It's messed up. And like
Viserion came right down on the walls. Yeah.
It's screwed up, right? So like Viserion comes in, caves in another wall, right? John's like hiding behind like this, like the torn down walls and blocking from this fire, and he's running through what I can only assume is where Sansa put Ramsay to death, which is like the dog kennels, right? And that's how he's able to lock them in, right? So it kind of harkens back to that season 7 where she closes the door on him, but this time it's him closing the door on it. And it's like right before that scene, he falls, like a bunch of like shit comes down and he falls down with it, and then he gets back up, pushing himself through the debris to keep going. So like
the Battle of the Bastards.
It's completely destroyed. It's more destroyed than the Battle of the Bastards. It's more destroyed than when Theon took it. It's more destroyed than anything. It's like it's not even the broken tower. It's like just broken Winterfell. It's broken men.
Yeah, really, all that's standing is the facade and the broken tower.
So like Septon Maribel's speech of broken men, these people are broken men. They face death. They look death in the eye and they try to overcome. And now that it's over, what are they? Now they have to go fight another battle? Like, are you fucking serious? Like, are you kidding me? Like, where's your food gonna come from? Where's anything gonna come from with all these whites around? Right? Like they rummage through everything. Go, Ash.
Yeah, the bodies everywhere. How would you possibly clean all that up and then go fight Cersei? Let's go. You know that the next one's going to be, we're out of here. Or maybe it won't, because I know David Nutter, who did episode 2, is doing the next one. So maybe it'll be another cleanup, or let's get our shit together and figure out how to go fight Cersei. But, we're going to get a lot more annoying Danny crap of, I need to have the Iron Throne, blah, blah, blah. If I hear that anymore, I swear, I'm going to kick the TV in. I'm so sick of hearing that.
The Iron Throne is mine.
Well, if the Iron Throne's yours, then the North is yours too. If you're not going to do anything about the North, this was your battle too, Danny. So she's got to realize that.
Oh God, I hate
if she's queen, it's her kingdoms. I just don't think she gets it.
I don't think she does either. I don't think she understands the magnitude. Like Marine was nothing compared to this. Nothing. Like you had to deal with a couple slaves, you stupid bitch. And you're like, oh no, like, my dragon ate someone. Oh my God, oh it's me.
It's so true. So I guess now we're going to John runs to Bran. He hides from Viserion's fire. And then we don't really know what happens to John after that. We cut to Bran.
Yeah,
And
he
he's
stands,
Hold on. We got Jorah
he
and
stands
Danny.
up and yells.
We got Jorah and Danny.
Oh,
I haven't
you-
touched on that yet.
Okay,
yeah, you didn't comment on that. Go ahead.
Okay, so when it comes to Jorah and Danny, like I talked about it in like a previous season where I said that Jorah loves Danny unconditionally, and you see it. Like I think you guys went right up until his death. Like, and the first cut that he makes is of a head being chopped off. Now, not only does that reference Ned and King's Landing, that's what would have happened to him if Ned would have caught him for slaving.
Right.
So he protects her through and through, both of those. That's like undeniable right there. And he keeps getting stabbed and stabbed and stabbed. And like he still loves her enough to protect her. Like I would bang Jorah. Like Jorah, if there's a Jorah that exists in this world, I'll bang you. I'll bang you for
I
the rest of your
know.
life, honestly.
He really did stay till the bitter end. I loved it. Yeah. Jorah's a badass.
Danny in these scenes picks up a fire or sword out of the fire. If you notice it, it's a black sword. And I'm like, oh my god, is this prophecy now? This is prophecy now. I'm so hyped. I'm like, this has got to be it. We're 10 minutes out. This has got to be it. No, it wasn't it. Wasn't it?
Nope. Wasn't it?
At least she picked up a sword and fought. You know?
Yeah.
She did have to fight.
Amelia Clark's acting during the one person whose name I flipping know outside of Kit Harington's, Maisie Williams and Sophie Turner. Basically her acting throughout this scene was like, oh shit, I'm fucking dead when the whites are falling down. Her acting was on par. Like no matter who she's up against for the season of the Emmys or the Oscars or whatever, she should win. She should. From that scene alone, you bought into that she was fucking scared and this was her last chance. And she kept checking on Jorah too. She was like, oh my god, please don't fucking die. Please don't die. Like, I need you in my life. And Jorah was probably the one person I didn't want to die throughout this whole thing. I'm like, Jorah's gotta live. He's gotta live.
Yep.
Right? He had to live off in Bear Island or go to the Wall and tell Danny he loves her and everything. And even in his last word, like even when Sam was fixing his grayscale, his dying letter was to Danny. Danny.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
right.
And when the whites all fall and then he falls, right? It's like, I've done my duty to protect my queen, my love, everything. So bringing back to the prophecies that we hear in the House of the Undying, 3 mounts must you know, 3 whatever must you know. Jorah was love. Jorah was unconditional love throughout that whole entire thing. No doubt about it. So I feel like Danny is going to fuck Jorah in the book at some point, and she's not going to realize it's love until like a certain moment where he possibly dies.
Till he dies.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm calling.
That was a good death. And his name's Ian Glenn, and he's wonderful. He's wonderful. I love him. He's a great actor, and he just did the best job.
I'll take his chest hair and all. Like chest hair and all. Like, I'll take it.
I love it. So now, then Drogon lands and puts his wings around them as Danny's sobbing over Jorah.
It's an animal instinct, right?
Yeah,
like your animals know when you're upset. Like when I have a migraine, my dog knows when I have a migraine. He comes up to me and he's like, "Oh my God, you're in pain, right? Like I should be here." Like he comforts me, and I don't even need to tell anyone else. He just knows instinctively, and it's the same with my cat too, right? He just knows, right? Like it's an unspoken bond, right? Where your animals know that you're in pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was
definitely.
it was definitely like a scene where I cried. Like Barrick upset me in hindsight, but Joris upset me in the moment, like where I actually cried, and now I'm like kind of just like mourning it. Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, I was crying over Joy. Yeah, I was. Then we just see John running,
We got
trying
the
to get to
crypts.
Bran.
We got the crypts of Winterfell next. Oh, we touched on that. Never mind. Okay, my bad.
We got that. And then basically we're at Theon, I think, in the Ironborn protecting Bran. Or we've got we did the Melisandre saying you're going to close brown eyes, green eyes, blue eyes, and she runs. So the green eyes might be Cersei.
Oh, hold on.
So.
I'll jump in on there. I thought the green eyes were the waif's eyes because the waif has green eyes.
Maybe,
that's right.
Yeah.
But the only way I could see Arya killing Euron is through his face and being close enough.
Oh yeah.
Or if she takes Jaime's after he dies by Bronn or something like that. Like it doesn't make sense that Arya would kill every single person that's important. It would be really cheap if they did that.
I agree.
Especially after the prophecy said, and like everyone online's like, "Oh, she's gonna kill Cersei now." No, like it would be cheap.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
You never know. But yeah, then we get that great line from Bran. Theon, you're a good man.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. And Theon did that badass run at the Night King with his spear. I love that.
Yeah, he did a good job there. He came full circle, and that was a good thing. And then you got, the Night King, like I said earlier, I still got the feeling that the Night King and Bran were having some kind of brain conference, mind conference. And I was a little bit underwhelmed by Bran. I just kind of figured there would be some more animals and wolves, or because he's the last screen seer,
Right.
And he has so many abilities, but he did do a good job of setting up the Night's King. They did a good job of that, I guess. And I'm assuming that he knew it was all going to come because he gave Arya the cat's paw dagger. So,
yeah, I guess Bran can see, so he knew what was going to happen. He knew, at least at that moment, probably what was going to happen next, or what was coming. That he could see Arya running. So I love the fact that it was the cat's paw dagger, and that he knocked it out of her hand, and she caught it. That was just so perfectly, faceless man and water dancer training.
And she pulled the same move on Brienne when they were practicing too. It's the same move she pulled on Brienne.
Yeah. Yep. And then the Night's King and Bran had a stare down moment. So really that was that. And then, you get this great Lord of the Rings moment with Sam while he's just looking around crying. And then you see that most everybody has survived. Except I don't know what happened to Tormund.
Tormund, I thought I saw him get killed, but I saw him in the previews, I think.
No, Tormund didn't get killed. He was with Gendry in them, so he's fine. He was fighting in them. But okay, so we jumped like a scene that I think was important, which was again, Theon, and you're a good man. Thank you. Like again, like you've seen this kid say he wasn't Bran. Why would it matter to you if this kid says you're a good man? Like it was really stupid. Like if
Maybe-
if
maybe
Bran
that's
cared
what-
about Mira, it would have made sense. Like if Bran cared about Sansa and Arya and all these people, it would have made sense to be like, "Thank you, Theon, for coming up to where you are right now." But Bran wasn't like that. Mira, he didn't care about Mira. Mira brought him beyond the wall and back. Lost her brother. He lost his direwolf. Lost Hodor. Lost. Okay, I'm gonna go off on a tangent right here. Hodor. There's a scene where it's like, when Santa and them are in the crypts, and it's like, open the door, open the door. I feel like that's where Hodor was going to die. He was going to hold the door closed for the whites, and that's where he was going to die. I don't think that they were going to come out of the crypts. I think that's where the main enemy was going to come from. The crypts, it was going to be from above, and they were going to go by level, but only Sansa and her family knows the lower levels of the crypt for her to get to. So again, like, so everything just boils down to, why would Theon care that he's a good man? Like, who are you to tell Theon he's a good man? Theon volunteered himself to be a good man. It doesn't matter that you said that he was a good man. At that point, he knew he was a good man.
I have a version of that. I think that Bran told him what he needed to hear in order for him to do what he needed to do.
Die.
You know, I mean, some people need an encouragement, and yeah, Theon was going to die regardless. But I think that Bran gave him what he needed to hear to go out with honor, and he did go out with honor.
I beg to differ.
You there?
I beg to differ. I think in order for Bran's words to make sense, D&D wrote his entire story wrong. It doesn't make sense. He might have said the words that made sense, but like it wasn't from a person that had compassion or emotion or a history, particularly with Theon, for it to matter. It was just a green-eyed seer saying it to him, which is like the accumulation of a bunch of people saying it to you despite not knowing you. Just only knowing your history. Like, it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, but you know, the D&D did mess up in making him without emotion so much in the previous season. And that could have been better, and it would have been more consistent.
They made him without emotions in this season, though, Cynthia, because they said, he's like, I'm not Bran anymore, it's you, Jaime. He said, what you did to me does not matter to me. So why would it matter if Theon's a good man to Bran in perpetuity to that scene? It doesn't make sense.
I have something to say about that.
I see your
point.
Ahead. Go ahead. I'm through.
I found this event by Tony and Tina's wedding.
Excuse me. So what I think is that Bran, you know, like, he forgave Jaime. So then it's almost like Bran, he got more human, a little more human throughout this, and it's almost like he was able to go back and finally see the memories instead of just having him flash and flash and flash, and he was almost done with his training almost, and he became the last green seer. So he became more just pure empathy and, you know, pure love as a green seer. So if he went back and saw Theon become Reek, then he probably needed to tell Theon, thank you, because you didn't kill me. You didn't kill Rickon. You know, even though you took the castle, I forgive you, but you protected me at this point. So you need to hear this. So I kind of feel like that, like, now he's a god. But you know, I do get the point that that's not human. It's too human to say that. It's not godlike. It's not, you know, he's not disconnected. They did make a mistake by making him too removed and godlike last season, and then making him be more compassionate now and more human. But for some reason it fit for me, and it felt like it was needed to happen for Theon, at least. And I feel like that's why he did it, was so that Theon could, because they were brothers, you know.
Again, I disagree. I don't think it amounted as much as they wanted it to. Like, even on my first watch, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're like a computer right now. Like you're just spouting out words. I'm like you're just like, oh, home, right? Like it doesn't
totally
mean
get it.
It doesn't mean anything. And then, but anyways, so we disagree. Whatever, like it is what it is, right? But
yeah,
the thing I didn't like about that scene is I did like Theon charging his whole like right, like his like fighting moves. Alfie Allen, if you're watching this, you should do the voiceover for Lynx, or for Lynx in the rest of the Lynx series, like the Zelda series, because your voice seems similar. Like, listen, right? Like that's how I felt throughout all your fight scenes. Like you sounded exactly like him. I didn't understand how a piece of like broken wood could go through Theon twice when he's wearing steel. I didn't understand that either.
That was a little strange. He did have armor on, and I, he did. He got the line out, "We're the Ironborn," and I thought, okay, if they're the Ironborn, maybe they're not going to be able to be killed.
What does that mean? Never die.
He got the line out. Right. Right. But he got it in the stomach. So okay, D&D.
Okay, so there's another scene now. Jon versus Viserion. I like that scene where he was trying to fight the dragon, like with the half draw. That was a beautiful little scene too, where they actually zoomed in on it, and it was just like half the jaw was missing, and it was like his holes were blowing out, like from the battle before. That was epic. But it harkens back to season 1, where Viserion was with that slave girl with that said the moon cracked and it produced dragons to Dany. The slut that teach Dany to fuck Khal Drogo, right?
Doria or Eerie and Jeekwe, one of them.
I think they named her Doria, but when I tried to look it up, they came up with no one. They came up with like Eerie, Jeekwe, like, and everything. It's almost like the books overrode that scene because she was so unimportant. Right? I did try to look it up to like get the exact scene of when she said it, but like it didn't work out. But Viserys, in the scene where he's having sex with her in the tub, right? And he's like, "Oh, well, if I just bought you for this, do this, right? Like if I just bought you for sex, do it, right?" And he says to her, "Brave men didn't kill dragons; they rode them." But what does Jon do? He also rides dragons, and he also kills dragons. Right, and he was going to kill a dragon, and I believe one of the book stories was that one of them used the shield and they blocked behind it and they walked up to the dragon. So I see Jon doing that in this scene to kill the dragon, right?
Yeah.
That the dragon, that Viserion didn't die like that. It was actually Jon that killed the dragon in that moment. They just didn't. D&D weren't given that snippet because it's a book thing.
Right. That moment was great because Jon was screaming at Viserion's face. Everybody was like at their last moment, and Bran was looking at the Night King, and Jon was screaming at Viserion. That worked really well.
Yeah, so I mean, Dylan was standing up there just to yell, and he tried everything he could. So I mean, he was going to just stand there and yell, and luckily, at that time, of course, you know what happens next.
I guess at this point he's the last dragon, if you look at it from a male point of view and not the females, he's the last dragon like Rhaegar was. So that works.
But is he the last dragon? I don't think Jon's the last dragon. I feel like Dany's womb will quicken again and she will bear a living child now. Like if the prophecy is true, if Mary Master's words are true, and she will, after the winds have blown in the way, like east to west. I sent you guys the picture. Right. Maybe I'll pop that in the chat, like after everything's done. But like,
I like that. Yeah,
that picture is insane. Like they put that in there for a reason. You know that they fucking put that in there for a reason. Like George R. R. Martin's like, you got to make a scene where it seems like the sun is behind them, but it's actually not the sun.
I love that. Yeah.
But okay, so Bran and the Night King have a conversation. I think that's where you guys like left off, and definitely having a conversation with him in his like mind's eye. right? Like the green seer eye, right? Like the third crow or the third raven, whatever they call it, right? Because they let her focus on them for like a minute and a half, and the Night King's looking at him, and Bran's like, and he looks sad, right? And then the Night King tilts his head.
Yeah.
They are having a conversation. You know it. There's got to be subtitles there. Like, you got to give me subtitles to that scene. I know George R. R. Martin's going to give me subtitles to that scene. It's going to be a Bran chapter that's going to end on. Right? So, it was just epic.
Yep.
And it kind of harkens
like
back to the House of the Undying scene where Dany's talking to the Undying ones, but they're just sitting there and she hears them talking. They're just not opening their mouths. Right? And they're blue. Right. They look exactly like the others. Right? Even the heart beats too. Right?
But
it's blue.
Yeah.
Right?
Blue is corruption. Yep.
She doesn't understand it. She's like, give me what's the word she used? She's like, give me this. Hold on, talk. I'll get the thing. Because I like took up.
Yeah, it was the heart was blue with corruption, sitting in the middle of the table, or where the Undying were sitting, and it's the same description as the wolf, the dire wolf mother that had the pups that they found. She was described as being as smelling of corruption. So corruption is blue, is death, is overtakes fire, I guess.
Okay, here's the quote. So it's in Clash of Kings, depending on what it's 705. So it says, she is not breathing. Dany listened to the silence. None of them are breathing. They do not move, and those eyes see nothing. Could it be the Undying ones were dead? She puts a question mark, right? And before this, she says, grant me your counsel and speak to me the wisdom of those who have conquered death. Right? So she's technically talking to the others. She just doesn't know that they're the others. Right? So she basically burnt a bunch of whites, right? In that building when Drogon goes off and defends her and shit like that. Like that's the way I took that scene originally. That they were from Essos.
I'm glad you found that. That's really cool because I love that because I think she even mentions wraiths in there.
It's a crazy. In my notes, like in my book notes, Dany's House of the Undying is the only chapter that I wrote through and through because there were so many tidbits that you needed from there. Like it was crazy, right? Like the daughter of death. Of course, you're the daughter of death. You're gonna fucking die. We all know you're gonna die. Right? You're not gonna reach the throne. Yep. Your House of the Undying, even in the book, said that you're not gonna reach the throne. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. And ice did overtake the heart of R'hllor. It really did. But R'hllor won out. I mean, Melisandre walked off into the dawn, but she had to wait until it was over. Until the dawn came. So it really did. It does tie in with the heart becoming blue with corruption, yeah. Cool, Steffi. I'm glad you looked that up.
I thought for sure Dany was going to be the Ice Queen. Like, I'm kind of, like, I do follow James and LaDonna a lot, but, like, even when I was reading the books, I came to this, like, almost the same conclusions as them. Like Dany has to be the Ice Queen. There's no doubt about it, right? Like her whole thing is they're like, she's like, show me, and they laugh at her, and they're like, show you, ha 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 ha, right? Like you're an idiot. You're it. You've already done what you're supposed to do.
You are the daughter of death. Right. It's true. And when you think about the Night's Queen being pale-skinned and blonde-haired, white-haired, or and being able to be seen from the wall, that's a green seer seeing her, or a Night King kind of warg, skin changer that can see that far. So yeah, I agree. She's got to become the Night's Queen.
Okay, so Cynthia, you got anything to add before we jump on to Arya coming out of the shadows?
No, I've been waiting for that one.
Okay, so let's go into that. You can go first.
Yeah.
I just thought that, like I said, we've already seen her do that. That drop the knife and go for it with Brianna, and I was not. I mean, you kind of knew that John wasn't going to be able to get to him, to Bran. And when Melisandre tells her, "What do we say to the god of death?" and she says, "Not today," you just kind of knew that she was going after Bran. I mean, that was Sansa was safe in the crypts. John can take care of himself, but I mean, that's where my mind went when she said that and she left, and it came out, I thought, very well, because I just wanted Arya to kill either him or Cersei one, by George. That's all.
Yeah.
I kind of
mean,
thought it would be Cersei better. I don't think they'll give her both the kills, but I kind of thought it might be Cersei. But I'm okay with her killing the Night King in the show.
in the show, yes, I am too. I am too. Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it myself. I knew she was running probably to Bran, but I didn't think she'd get there until I saw the White Walker look to the side of him, and I thought, oh my God, here comes Arya. And there she was. It was rad. It was rad. I loved that part. I thought that was just perfect. Even though it should have been John, whatever. I'll save that for the books.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Steffi.
With this scene, like I've said it before, like from a book perspective, it didn't make sense, like, at all. But because it was a show perspective, it made sense. That's the only reason why it made sense. If it was the books, it wouldn't have made sense, because she missed out on so much of her training that it wouldn't have made sense unless she picked it up during the span of A Dance of Dragons to the Winds of Winter, or the Dream of Spring, a Dream of Spring. Yeah, okay. So A Dream of Spring. So if somewhere in between there, she learned how to be so stealthily that she could do that. But again, it like, even from a show perspective, while watching it, how did the other other commanders, not the undead commanders, but Craster's kids commanders, not understand that she was there? And where she came down, it almost looked like from wherever room she was, she traveled from the Broken Tower to the Godswood, up into the Heart Tree, and stayed there and waited there. And like, she was so silent that when she dropped down to go kill him, right? Like, she was up here in like, the Night's King was here coming up to Bran, and Bran was distracting him with a conversation in his head, right? That she came down, right? It almost looked like she was flung in the show, but it, like, to me, they tried to make it as close as possible from coming down from above, right? That's the only way I can put it. But like,
they did show one of the White Walker generals, or whatever, Craster's kids. They did show his hair blowing, as if something was, the movement of her coming in for the kill. That's what caught their attention.
See, that's what I didn't
and it was
get.
Too late.
That's what I didn't get. Like, if it would have been her just coming in, it would have made more sense. But her coming in completely unnoticed while this whole army is around you, like, how the hell would you get? I think my sister, the night she came home, she said that Arya must have taken one of the faces of the Whites and changed her eyes to visualize that death. And that's the only reason why the Night King knew that she was a White, right? Because in the books it says that.
That makes a bit of sense, because one of the White Walkers did look to the side of him, and you'd think he'd reach out right for her neck, just like the Night King did. But it was almost like she was missed or something, or she just flew by so fast.
She was,
exactly.
She flew like a bird.
Mm-hmm.
But if she flew like a bird, that would refer to Bran doing it for her, not Arya doing it for Bran. You know what I'm saying? Because when
Maybe that's
Brian
true.
gets that message, he says, "You will not fly, like you will not walk again, but you will fly,"
That you
which
will
would
fly.
Yeah.
which would refer to
Yeah.
Arya flying to Bran in that moment. But the thing is, I still don't understand that unless she had some kind of deceptive powers to be like, "Hey, I already died. Do not worry about me because now I am a white." Right? Because the commander did look
Right.
like he was like, "What the fuck just went by me?" Right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So unless
yes.
that was someone that like he had a hive mind to, right? That was the
Wow.
only
Yeah,
way.
because that's
The
very
only
true,
thing-
Steffi, because Arya has died for certain.
What do you mean she's died for
But-
certain?
I mean, she's, well, if she hasn't literally died, like drowning or, you know, something like that, she's definitely got the ability as a faceless man to take other faces or to maybe even become, you know, like Bloodraven, like Mist or something. Maybe she's got more powers than we think.
But that was
Not
my
in the show.
but that wasn't my point with my sister, because in the show and in the books, she doesn't get the ability to know how to create a face. She doesn't
No, I
learn
know.
that. She just learns how to prep
True.
them for the process
Right.
of taking their faces off. Right now,
Mhm.
like if
Yeah.
Martin or D&D would have shown her being able to take the faces off, that would have been one thing. But they didn't
Yeah.
show that transition. So how does she
Mm-mm.
get by? She
No,
can't
they
get by just on stealth alone. She, like, obviously that stealth scene before wasn't enough to prove to her that she could get by on stealth alone. These are just whites. You're talking about the other commander, right? That you're talking about Craster's kids being able to sense you by themselves, being a human, intelligent, conscious being, right?
Right.
You wouldn't be able
Right.
to walk back there without there being a hive mind connection, unless there was a face involved.
I wonder if there's a Stark connection, like with Bran and Arya. Maybe he gave her the ability to fly. I don't know. I guess we're supposed to. I don't know. I guess we're just supposed to believe that she flew in there and did it. I don't know what else to think, because you're right. We didn't see a thing to say that she could do that.
She didn't yell when she didn't yell when she went after him, did she?
Yeah, she
I always
did.
get aggravated, but she did.
Yeah, she went
I-
and tried to stab him.
Yeah, I hate it when they do that. Why don't you just be quiet and go on up there and do your business instead of yelling and letting them know it's you that you're coming, you know.
Like,
Yeah.
like
But
in scope, you knew it was supposed to be drawn in a battle. Like
Yeah.
like as a book reader, you knew it was supposed to be drawn. There's no way that the Night King would have been that stupid. You would have fucking cracked her neck right then and there. You would have been like, you
Yes.
stupid insolent kid, right? Like thrown her body down. I don't feel like the
So
Night King who heard John from like a mile away, running up to him, raising a dead army in between, would have been like, oh, okay, there's Arya, right? And like, whatever.
Yeah.
No, he would have snapped your fucking neck. He would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that
Right.
scene would have been physically possible in the book. Or
That's
Right
what
then.
I thought too.
Yep.
that's just my opinion.
Yep.
But like, it just doesn't make
But I
sense.
still liked it. Steffi, I still liked it.
I still
did
liked
too.
it, but it was
I
like,
did too.
it was just that
Inconsistency.
right. Like, I watched the hype swatch before I did this, and like, what's his name? James makes a lot of great points on this, and he's just like, no, like, or JB, right? He's just like, no, like, there's a fucking security around. Like, what are you doing? They make the army, like the commanders, Craster's kids, and the Night King look like dumb idiots, and they're not dumb
Oh,
yeah, they
idiots. They've been through
No,
this,
you're right.
right?
You're right. I paused it right when the White Walkers were walking in, you know, in formation kind of, and I counted them. There's always 12, right? There were only 11. I counted them and counted them and counted them.
Well, the one
Maybe
from Hardhome,
Arya did take. Maybe Arya. Oh, yeah. Well, that's true. I was just thinking maybe she did take a face. Maybe she did take a body.
She didn't have time for that.
But I
She
don't.
didn't have
Yeah, I
time.
just don't see it. I mean, I'm trying so hard to make it work, but I don't see how it does.
And it's a possibility. I think it was Steffi that brought up too, her climbing like Bran did. I thought that was a good association because it's very possible she did climb over that old tower and to get to the God's Wood because it's in that area, I believe.
Well, when Bran goes, or when Arya goes to see Jon and Dany enter, I guess it was Wintertown or whatever, right? She stands out in the crowd. They should have shown her with a face. They should have shown her with that that old man's face if she was trying to do that thing where she was about to call out to him and then she didn't. But like you should have shown that difference in faces. Like it would have made more sense that way. But it didn't translate because she didn't read the training, nor does she have it in the book. Like there's too many if, ands, and buts in that scene that logistically, no matter what angle you try to go after, it doesn't make sense. Unless she's like a magical fucking god herself and she's just like a planet sister that can fucking kill the Night's King. It doesn't make sense. Do I appreciate it? I do. Yeah, because the Night's King's dead. Fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Right? But like we all know in the book, it's just going to continue because just like Ned saved Jon, she's not going to kill the last person. It doesn't make sense. And we still have no idea what happened to that baby way up north, Craster's last baby.
I know.
Right?
That's true.
Did he kill her to Rice, or did the Night's King's mind travel to that last safe haven in that last moment?
Oh, that's
good thought. Good thought.
Right? Like we don't know what happened to that baby. Right?
Yeah.
Like
he was standing there holding Gilly's hand, but you never know. You never know what's inside that little kid. Because now he's been face to face.
Crazy.
It still was I don't know, you know, it almost reminded me of all the talk of like George's wife saying, "I'll divorce you if you kill Arya," and David Benioff's wife saying, "I'll divorce you if you kill Arya." It was almost like Arya's got to live, you know.
But you don't know that she will. You don't know that she will yet. You know, I mean, this is only halfway through.
We don't.
But in the
we
book,
don't know who.
I mean, this was the deal. She killed the Night King. Doesn't mean, well, I guess it does mean we're not going to see her in the spring with clutching needle under the snow, thank God.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, aren't you supposed to be fucking dead? Like, it's just like, it's almost like George R.R. Martin was like, fuck, if I do the books one way, my wife is going to fucking divorce me. The least I could do is do the show and get her to not divorce me. Right? like, it's almost like that scenario where he's like, screw it. Like, she's just going to do everything just to please my wife. And that's the end game I'm going to give to D&D because I don't want to. I want someone to like bet.
Yeah.
Right? What was Tyrion's thing to sing? Like I'll die around like a woman with a cock in my
80 years old, 80 with a woman with a cock mouth around, you know what. But I was disappointed that we didn't. Now I forgot what I was going to say. You got me thinking about Tyrion's cock.
Are you horny, old man? Tell us.
No, you just got my. It don't take much for my mind to get sidetracked. But
Rose
yeah, I was kind of.
I'm just saying, like.
I was thinking, you know, that what were we talking about with as far as that goes.
We were talking about the baby, Craster's baby, Gilly's little son. Was that
Okay.
it?
Who still doesn't have a name yet.
No.
You're talking about like 8 seasons later, and this kid doesn't have a fucking name yet. Like, name your goddamn
At least
kid,
he was
Gilly.
older, right? At least he was older.
No, I swear to God, it's the same
Well,
kid
they
from
don't name
season
him in
7.
the
They
North.
like jumped like 4 years into the future for this dumb kid, and we don't even have a name yet for him. Like, figure out your name of your kid. Maybe then we'll take your word
Yeah, I
for
think
it.
by now he's at the wildling age to name, right? So, like I keep saying, this suspension of disbelief.
Oh, I know what it was I was going to say. I was disappointed that Cersei didn't get to see and have a up close and personal encounter with a white. Her smugness about it,
Yep.
you know.
Mm-hmm. I know, and she's just going to be so smug after this now.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if you saw the trailer for the next one, or just the after the episode where they show the preview for the next show, where Euron's down on one knee.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously proposed.
We got to have one wedding a season anyway, you know.
Right. It's true. I mean, I knew, Euron's she's gonna try to pass that baby off as if it's Euron's.
Well, of course.
So
But
maybe she
Steffi,
will
you
marry
there?
him.
So let me guess. Like, how many people like this scene? Like, through and through. Like, okay, say, raise your hand for TV wise. I liked it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I liked
TV
it.
wise.
Yeah. TV wise, I liked it.
Okay, show wise or book wise, did you like it? I didn't like it.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Well, it's hard to know what's going to be in the book because it's not finished.
I know.
I feel like out of everything that George R. R. Martin has put in the books, like, there's no chance it could be Arya. I feel like it's all Jon. I feel like it is.
It has to be. Why do you do all this Prince that was promised shit once again if it's not Jon? Has to be.
Well,
Jon
I
has
don't
faced
know.
death his entire fucking book. Like, his entire series. Like, it doesn't make sense why it wouldn't be Jon. Or why Dany wouldn't be sacrificed after the House of the Undying. Like, it doesn't make sense in scope. Right? Like,
No,
despite the prophecy, like, despite me trying to muddle it in there and to shove it in there, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. But D&D, do they ever make sense?
No.
But you got to, maybe Jon's goal was not to kill the Night's King, but to become the king of the Seven Kingdoms. You know, he is Aegon the, Targaryen.
But by whom, though? By whom? Like, Jon even in the book can't even conquer, like, barely anyone. He's no one. He's not Rhaegar. He can't fight Robert's rebellion on the Trident. That's not Jon. Right?
Jon gets beat down every time. He gets beat down every time. He just keeps coming back. And I think that's what makes a big difference. And when you get down, whether you get back up. And Jon just keeps getting back up. And no, he's not conquered.
Can Robb get back up? Can Robb get back up?
No, Robb can't.
Okay, so why would you assume that Jon can get back up? Robb fell on his 101st battle. A broken man is created, whether it's on his first battle or his last. The whole entire point of this book is for race. It is a racial book. The way I took it is that you must keep all cultures, everything in perfect perpetuity to each other and not intermix, because intermixing means the death of a race. The moment you
Right.
do that, you sacrifice race and culture and everything like that. And that's what that happened. The Doom of Valeria sent them on a mission to hold on to their race and hold on to their culture. And the moment that left them is with 2 people at the end.
Yeah,
Right.
true.
Which
It's
is
true.
Right?
what Ragnarok is the sea swallowing the earth and being born anew. But there's got to be a couple people left. There's always a couple people left.
Well, I think that's
so
in
maybe
history as well. You've got all these cultures that have been wiped out, and either they mix in with other tribes, or they're extinguished. Look at the Native Americans.
Native Americans aren't dead because of the help of the whites, though. You're talking about any race would have killed them off by now. Russians would have killed them off. The Japanese would have killed them off. The Chinese would have killed them off. The Arabs would have fucking killed them off with the Ottoman Empire. Every single other race would have killed them off. I'm sorry to get political here, but it's true. We bought land. We promised them the survival of their race and perpetuity to them.
The whites, they would have killed off the whites?
No, the whites kept them intact, is what I'm saying. And that's what the Targaryen line is. It's a survival of race, and Dany sacrificed that in the moment that she allowed the Dothraki to go. It was a forfeit for her.
I agree with that. I agree with that. That was they were a pawn to be sacrificed.
Yeah, the Dothraki didn't know they were going to be sacrificed. So that wasn't really okay.
I wasn't happy with that. Honestly, I mean, to lose all of them and not have one of them.
Give me a moment.
Okay. Anyway, that's just my way of thinking about it. But I see that, like I said earlier, the ones that are left are the unsullied, and they can't reproduce like we were talking about earlier. So the ones that are actually going to be left to fill up Westeros are the leftover Westerosi at the end of this. Whether it's after the Battle of Winterfell or at the end of the show, the few that are left, and history does show that, the world has been brought down with the floods and different things, but there's always been a remnant that survived.
Okay, I'm gonna cut in there. Okay, because I completely disagree, and I think that's the entire point of this entire book, like, to me. So when Bran finds out that the others were created by Leaf and the Children of the Forest, she says because of men with flames. Now, in A Dance with Dragons, Bran 3, this is Leaf's answer, right? Gone down into the earth, she answered, into the stone, into the trees. Before the first man came, all this land that you call Westeros was home to us. Yet even in those days we were few. The gods gave us long lives, but not great numbers, lest we overrun the world as deer would overrun a wood where there are no wolves to hunt them. Now, in our history, that would be white people. Let's just be honest.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. We could have conquered the world and slaughtered everyone, and just like the Mongolians would have done before us. Okay, so that was in the dawn of days when our sun was rising. Now it sinks, which it is for whites right now. We're 800,000. A third of us are going to die, and then the rest of us are going to die. Let's be honest. Now it sinks, and this is our long dwindling. The giants are almost gone as well. They who are Bane and our brothers, you could call them Europeans if you would wish. The great lines of the Western Hills, you can call them Europeans if you wish. The Western Hills have all been slain. The unicorns are all but gone. The mammoths down to the few hundred. The dire wolves will outlast us all, which will most likely be the U.S. or Canada. Okay, the dire wolves will outlast us all, but their time will come as well. In the world that men have made, there is no room for us because we've given up so much of our lives. And she said she seemed sad when she said it. And that made Bran say it as well.
Oh.
It was only later that he thought men would not be sad. Men would be wroth. Men would hate and swear our abilities vengeance. The singers sing sad songs where men would fight and kill. Right?
True.
That's the entire, and then it harkens back to the broken man speech.
Yeah.
Let me look that up too.
The Broken Man speech. I love so much. I just read it the other night.
There was a guy last year at Ice and Fire Con who did Septon Maribald's speech, and he did an excellent job of it, yes. And while Steffi's looking that up, I will say thank you to everyone at the Ice and Fire Convention for having me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a great time with y'all, and hope to see y'all again next year. Okay, Steph, you got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
But yeah, like I love this community. I hope you guys all have fun, and I have had fun. I just wish everyone the best. Okay, so the Broken Man.
Me too. I want to say that too, because it kind of feels like the end, and I'm gonna miss you guys.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll keep doing it.
Oh yeah, we'll keep trucking along through this all.
Oh yeah, we got the book Winds of Winter still, and the Dream of Spring come out.
Damn straight.
Yep. Let's hear the Broken Man speech.
Okay, so I'm gonna cut in through like towards the ends of the Broken Man speech. Okay, so the reason why it feels like that, I attached to what Leaf says to Bran. So this is Septon Maribald to Brienne and Pod. And one day they looked around and realized all their friends and kings are gone. And that they are fighting beside strangers beneath a banner that they hardly recognize. That they don't know where they are or how to get back home. And the Lord they are fighting for does not know their names. Yet here he comes, shouting for them to form up and to make a line with their spears in their sides and sharpened hoes to stand their ground. And the knights come down on them, faceless men, clad all in steel and the iron, thunder of their charge, which harkens back to the lightning of the broken tower. Thunder of their charge seems to fill the world, and the man breaks. And he turns around and runs or crawls over a corpse of the slain, or steals away in the blackened night, and he finds some place to hide. All thought of home is gone by them then. And the kings and lords and gods mean less to him than a haunch of spoiled meat that will let him live another day, or a skin of bad wine that might drown his fears for a few hours, which goes on to whites being drugged and dying of opioids and drugs beyond comparison to any other race in the whole entire world. The Broken Man lives from day to day, from meal to meal, more beast than man. Lady Brienne is not wrong. In times like these, the traveler must beware of broken men and fear them, but he should pity them as well. Because it's a dying of a culture, it's a dying of a race, which is what the Dothraki went through, which was what the Unsullied went through, which is what basically Westeros would have went through if this would have happened, right? If the undead would have won, right? Which is the true sad story. That you're supposed to. I love every culture in the world, but if you were to take my culture from me, that would be the saddest thing for me. Right? It wouldn't be that you killed some stranger in the street. It wouldn't be that. It would be that my history and my culture would not live on. Right? It's like if you took all the race on this earth and put it on the moon, it would become that race. It would become that culture. Right? But if you were to strip it away and kill it forever, if you were to blow up the moon, that would be no more. Right? And that's what Bran is supposed to epitomize in that moment. It's all the cultures, it's all the people, it's all the everything in that world, and you're supposed to make sure it's intact throughout all of history, no matter what. He is the last green seer, and the moment he's gone, it is up to us to carry that along. That's the way I take the book. The book came. When I reread the book, like throughout my teens, that's what made me close to it. Right? That's like So I don't know, whatever it is, what it is. Maybe I'm too tipsy to fucking make.
No, it's important. It really is. It's an important story because we all need to remember, like the North remembers. We need to remember. And I like the way they had Sam say that in the second episode, that what are we without our memories? And it's actually, what are we without our culture too? What are we without each other? So it's true. It's I think
our memories.
It's like Masande saying we should go to the North, right? She's like, the people around here don't like us.
Yeah.
Let's go back.
Right.
Let's go back home. Let's go, right? It's like Theon being back home, right? You need a home.
Oh,
That's what it is.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. Otherwise, what are you? You're just a person alone. It's all about family. It's all about each other. And that's what Bran is. And that's, I think, really what all of us are. You know, we're all green seers in a way. That we all, at least most of us, can feel each other's pain, can have compassion and empathy. And that's, to me, what these books are about, is remembering who we are and not losing who we are, no matter what. So I think they'll last for a long, long time. Because this is a story about us.
So
it's a story about us. It's our mythology, it's our history. It's about us.
So the long night never ends in the real world. It continues.
Right.
It's up to you to make sure the dawn is always there. That's what it's supposed to mean.
Yeah.
Good point. Excellent point, Steph. I like that.
I do too. Beautiful. Yeah. I think George is our Herodotus. I do.
Well,
beautiful ladies.
Now.
Okay, so we disagree on the thing, Arya being able to kill the Night's King, but from a show perspective we agree. Book perspective we do not. Okay, so Melisandre and the Hound is our next one.
Oh, Melisandre. I loved that. I thought that was perfect. Really perfect. I mean, to just have her walk into the light of the dawn and her clothes come off and her hair turns white and she falls. I loved that. That was brilliant. That was perfect.
You're Mel and Davos? Is that what you're talking about?
Melisandre.
And Davos?
Last scene
and Davos
episode.
watching it.
And the Hound.
Yeah,
Davos watched it.
Yeah. What about the Hound? I missed the Hound. He just come out. Did he see her too?
The Hound comes out with Melisandre and he looks at her and he's like, where the fuck are you going? Right? And then Davos comes up, right? So it's technically both of them watching her.
Yeah.
But they focus on Davos last.
Yes. Okay.
That's really kind of cool because
he's the Hound watching her. Sorry, I totally missed that. Thank you.
That's I mean, I missed the Hound watching her, but now I'm remembering it. And I love that because they are the broken men. Davos has lost everything except, he's lost all of his sons except one and his wife, but he hasn't seen them forever. He lost Shireen. He lost Stannis in the show, and so did the Hound. The Hound is pretty much now about to go kill his brother as far as I'm concerned. So, and the Hound's never had anything anyway, except really Arya and Sansa. But only really in his mind, in a way. So yeah, two perfect witnesses to the end of the world being saved and watching Melisandre go off into the dawn. It was a beautiful ending to have it with Melisandre.
Yeah, I thought that was something. You could see her hair turn gray. You could see her wobbling with age, and then just fall down. And I didn't know if it was just her body being swept away with the snow, or if you know if they were going to bury her, or what.
It was almost
she
like
was
a last
dissolved.
breath, I thought. Yeah, it was almost
Looked
to
almost
me, it was
like
like
her body was dissolving out there. It looked to me like.
Yeah, it could have. I thought it was just her last breath kind of going into the cold, and then she just kind of
May have
fell.
been.
But it was
what else,
perfect.
son?
Okay, I'll jump in. Okay, so Miri Master's prophecy is when the sun rises in the west and sets in the east, when the seas go dry and the mountains blow in the wind like leaves, when your womb quickens again and you bear a living child, then he will return and not before. Now, obviously, it means Danny will die before he returns to her, right? It's kind of like in the show where he's like maybe this is a dream, right? And I told them to fuck off before I got to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in that scene, Melisandre blows away in front of a mountain. That's the way I took it, like leaves, right?
Yeah.
That's the way I took it, right? And when I posted that picture to you guys, and I'll post it to the chat too. Hold on, let me try to get it. I'll get it later. That's the dawn was then, and it was coming from the east, right?
It was,
but when the sun rises, it is where she dies, and it's in the west, right? So it so epitomizes that whole long night, right? That long night.
That's perfect too.
So
it really is because
no, go Ash.
Sorry. I was just gonna say her living for so long, it's like a mountain, it's like something set in stone that's there forever. She's been there for hundreds, maybe 1,000 years. So it's like a mountain falling. It's like some big part of the world dying. Cool, very cool stuff.
I will say that they kept this under wraps pretty good.
Didn't they?
No leaks this season.
Well,
not like before.
I'll add in there. D&D, when they were doing their snippet inside the episode, they did, and when the Melisandre actress did do the interview for this episode, she did say that she filmed this. She filmed this episode of her staggering, right? They told her to stagger, and all they did was CGI her, right? But she didn't understand what it meant, right?
Aww,
she said that she waited.
Sad.
Yeah, she said that she waited to the episode because she didn't want to be spoiled, right, of the ending, right? She didn't understand what they meant by it, right? So she said that she would walk out, and then that was it. That was her last filming scene, right? But when she was staggering, she had no idea what, like, she could have assumed that she took a bullet in between that time, like she didn't know, right? But like it was her, but they CGI'd the old woman on top of that, right?
Yeah, they'd have to.
So I thought that was cool.
That's really cool. I heard Jamie in an interview say that they all wait a couple days after they're supposed to wait a couple days after to watch it. And I thought, oh, that's really cool because they don't even know. They know what they film, but they don't know what the CGI is going to do. So that's really cool. I like that.
That's true.
But I really enjoyed the setting of this. Like like Ash said, she's basically been out this for whoever knows how long, right? She doesn't say it in the books, but she doesn't say it in the show either. All we know is she's old. She's like really old, right?
Very old.
And like when she throws off her glamour, right? It's almost like she gave her all to set the Dothraki on fire, right? Like their Aurochs or whatever, and then to do the whole trench around the Winterfell. She put her life into it. She knew this was her moment. She knew something in the flames told her right before this that this is your last. This is where you die, right?
It was her last kiss to everybody, like Barrett gave to Lady Stoneheart. It was her last kiss to all the living. That's beautiful.
Oh, that's so sad. I didn't even think about it like that. That's so sad.
That's really sweet.
But it was the best way to finish this episode as. Like, it was insane.
I agree. I didn't even expect it, and I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like from a book perspective, my favorite characters are Sansa, Melisandre, and Jamie. Right?
Me too.
Those three are the only ones, right? Like I really don't care about the other characters. I find them like very like whatever, right? Because I know Sansa's gonna be queen. I know Melisandre is the shit, and I know George R. R. Martin writes for Jamie like no one else's business.
Oh God, Jamie's so beautiful. I love Jamie. I always love Jamie.
So,
but you know,
go Cynthia.
I was just gonna say, after this battle that they have all survived through, this has got to somehow cinch the loyalties of these people. You know, I mean, when you fight for, you don't fight for whoever, you fight for the person next to you, and that's what happened. It didn't matter who they were, whether what clan or house they were from. You fought. Whoever was alive kept fighting the dead. You know, so there was no. There's got to be anyone who I've talked to. It's been through war. You know, there's a camaraderie between those survivors, I think.
Most definitely.
But it's kind of like George R. R. Martin says, the history is won by the winners, right?
Yeah,
it's written by the winners, right?
Right? Like
that's another thing.
If the Targaryens would have won at Robert's rebellion, would Robert have been considered a usurper like Dany views him? Like she viewed Jamie? Yeah. Right? Because Sansa didn't view him like that. That was just from her take. Maybe it was like, you don't really know what's going on in Sansa's head. She's a little finger, right? In her political game. Yeah. So you don't really know if she's viewing it as, I need this person to be on my side later on, or if I need this person right now. But like, history is won by the winners, unfortunately, right?
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what he's doing because of this, you know, time lapse, the issue in the timeline we've got. That's straight the Bible, you know, it really is. It's when did the Andals come, and the Andals wrote history pretty much. I mean, they did.
Well, they didn't have any writing before that. It was all glyphs.
Right. So, you know, I mean, we're still finding things in this world to tell us what came before, and it keeps changing history every time they find something. In Egypt, in Syria, all over the world, it changes history. So we're finding now that all of this stuff in the Bible, a lot of it is not, at least the timeline's not right. And maybe the people who died or the people who caused a lot of death just might not be the way it's written. I think that's what he's doing.
Research for the truth, people. That's it. That's all you got to do. Don't listen to school. Don't listen to anything. Do your own research and come to your own conclusions yourself.
Read. Never stop asking questions. Yep. It's true.
Yeah, but I kind of fit like Melisandre blowing away. Like it wasn't even by Dragonfire either. Like, but it still fits into Yoke Boy's theory of her being a Targaryen, which is weird. Like maybe that's how Targaryens died, because they have that crypt in King's Landing, right? Like Joffrey and Marjorie saw it, and they were all in. It didn't look like tombs. It almost looked like urn places.
Like, yeah, they burn them. Yeah, they do. So it maybe they that's
so maybe
cool.
So I didn't really like look at, like when I saw it, I like kind of looked at it like that, but then I didn't. I thought she was just old and she blew away in the leaves, right? Like that's the way I looked at it. Like eventually everyone becomes dust to dust, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, how much talk How much talk of ash and bones do we have in this story? A lot. I'll leave him a kingdom of ashes and bone.
Well,
Okay,
I think
so
we covered it. Ashley or Steffi, we got any more?
okay, you guys can.
I'm good.
Does anyone got like anything else that they wanted in this episode or didn't want in this episode? Like, it's up to you guys. We got like a few minutes left. Okay, I'll go first while you guys are thinking. I wanted Sansa to go in the crypts and sing. I wanted her to sing like a Winterfell like northern song to the people, because when Cersei sees her at the Battle of Blackwater, she's singing with everyone. And I feel like when the Howling started, instead of her having that scene with Tyrion and Missandei, I feel like that scene should have been postponed to the first scene, where you would have had your been different. I feel like that scene when you could hear the howling of the leaves, or even when they're fighting the White Walkers or the undead, and you can hear them really close. I feel like she should have been like, we should sing right now, just to calm the people, just to be a queen and to calm the people and be like, everything is okay. And also, that scene harkened back to Ilyn Payne being there with ice, because he still had ice.
Right. Oh, and ice came together with Brienne and Jaime too, fighting side by side.
So that's how I feel. That's one of the scenes outside of hounding the Sansa in the previous episode, which I'm like livid about. I feel like that was the one thing that was missing, right? Sansa shouldn't have had that looking scene between Tyrion and him. She should have had like a scene of her singing, oh, like coming downstairs and let's sing for joy, right? Kind of thing, right? Like, let's sing to the mother. Let's sing to
the song of it,
right? Like to bring the people together. Right? Almost. It was missing. Yeah. I felt like that was missing. I don't know if Sophie Turner is a singer. Maybe her voice sucks and that's why they didn't do it. But I feel like that scene needed it, like to this episode.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe that's what Pod did last episode with Jenny's song. Maybe that was the Song of Earth that saved it. We could look at it like that.
I thought they had to be quiet in there and not draw attention, you know, because that's why I thought they didn't do that, because I thought about that as well.
I felt like that the doors were closed. There was no one that was going to go in there, right? When the Night's Watch or the battle people came up and they were like, open the door, and it kind of went back to hold the door, right? Like Hodor. Right, I felt like that would have, after that point, it wouldn't have been good. But when she entered the crypt, she should have acted like a queen, right, like a princess, and sung to her people, to gather them around in spirituality and in culture and everything like that, and to sing with them. And then people, it's almost like when you hear a song on the radio for the first time, but you don't know the lyrics, but you do know the lyrics and you sing along anyways. Like you instinctively know it because it makes you feel good. Like you know where the artist is going with the song or the band is going with the song. That's how I feel. When you learn music, you know what notes are gonna go with what tune. Almost like what's the emotion they're trying to equivocate to, and it's kind of like that with George R.R. Martin's writing. You kind of know. It's kind of like when they start playing certain music on the show. You know what? I forget what scene it was, but I think it was when Theon is going to protect Bran from the Night's King. There's a certain song that is played that you know this is Theon's final moments that you need to pay attention to, right? It's kind of like that. Like music just brings people together, like culture does, right? Like it overrides it almost, right? It doesn't matter where you live or where you are or where you continue to go. It's that moment that you need that spirit, and I feel like that's it.
Right.
Yeah, but Sansa came in and she was talking about looking the truth in the face. And I think that I don't think she thought they would survive because she saw what happened to the Dothraki. I
I
think she
don't think
kind of lost. She didn't even give them any encouraging, motivational speeches or say, you know, everything's fine, whatever, even singing. She didn't give them anything except to go and hide.
But
She
it
was
was kind
scared.
what I'm saying is, it was like Cersei at the Blackwaters, where she didn't care about the people. She was just drinking wine like Tyrion. She didn't fucking care about her people being scared. Where Sansa, her lesson was supposed to be to learn from that. Cersei told her to learn from that. Like, you will be a good queen because of this. That's the way I interpreted it. Like, Sansa should have sung during one of those scenes. Instead of, like, she should have, when she first went downstairs or something, or the second scene when she's talking to Tyrion saying, you're not going to survive this, whatever, you should look in the face and the truth. After that, she should have been like, everyone, let's sing together. That's the, as a queen, you're supposed to, like, or a king, you're supposed to unite your people under one cause, under one culture, under one song, under one everything. That's how I felt about it. Like, it wasn't about looking, you know the truth regardless of what's going to happen, right? Like, you know what's going to happen to people, so, like, you know what's going to happen to your life, you know what's going to do everything. But it's about how you handle the situation at that moment that matters.
True. I agree with that.
So what songs or like what scenes you wanted to add or didn't want to add or whatever?
I wanted to see more the actual battle that was going on. I don't know if it was my television or what. It was such a mixed match, and so fast. It was hard to keep up with who was who.
That's
in a
true.
lot of places.
I agree.
Like a slow-mo.
Yeah, slow-mo would have been good during that. You could have caught more of what's going on with the slow-mo.
Like, right? Like, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like a Braveheart or something. It needed to go a little slower where you could see better and you could kind of take it in. But, I guess when you're fighting whites or zombies, it's different.
When it came to that, I kind of felt like they were supposed to be faceless.
Yeah.
They were supposed to be death, no matter which end they were supposed to be on. So it didn't matter who you saw. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? It was only the winners that mattered, right? Winners write the history, right? So it didn't matter. Yeah, you saw Tormund and Gendry fighting together at the end. Of course, you saw Brienne and Jaime and Pod fighting at the end against the wall. But like when the battle first started, it didn't matter. It was a fight for survival at that point. But again, Dean said that they didn't kill who was supposed to be killed in that scene, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the only thing that I would say is that, like, it's not realistic enough to leave every single major character alive at the end. But, I mean, I'm so attached to these people now that I want to see them all again. I expected this battle to come at the end, not the battle against Cersei so Dany can get her throne. I'm just sick of that. I'm sick to death of it. I hate to be a downer, but I'm really tired of hearing her talk about that throne. I really am. So I really hope that she doesn't get it, because she doesn't understand what it even means to rule 7 kingdoms. She understands what it means to burn people that don't do what she tells them to do. So to me, I think what I would have liked to have seen was for her to die in this episode. That's what I wanted to see.
Agreed. I think Dany should have died. 100%. That's the way the prophecy read it, for her to be Nisa, for her to bring about Lightbringer, for her to be everything. And it didn't happen. It was... Yeah. It didn't make sense that, like, Arya just came out with this dagger from... Like, it did make sense in the scenic view, but it didn't make sense in the scope of the books at all. And I feel like she is going to die during the next book or the next episodes, because they do have that huge harpoon for the dragon. I think Drogon's going to go down there. I feel like that's...
Oh, yeah, the scorpion. Yeah, that's true. We haven't seen that yet. Yeah, so, yeah. The dragons will die. I mean,
where, Steffi? Drogon's gonna go where, Steffi?
He's gonna fall for the Battle of King's Landing. That's where he's gonna fall. He's gonna fall by the harpoon or the scorpion, like the arrow, the big arrow. Yeah. That's where he's gonna fall. Yeah. It's gonna go right through his skull, and she's gonna fall to her fucking death. That's where her last battle is gonna be known as the Battle of Winterfell, the Long Night.
Yeah, I mean, she's practically the queen who never was, but she's the queen that nobody wanted. She's not anyone's queen, but this is all in her mind. It's all been in her mind the whole time. Just almost like,
entitlement.
All of the Night Fort story in Bran's mind. Yeah, she's so entitled that there's no way George would give her the Iron Throne. No way. Mm-mm. She doesn't get it.
That would be too.
Are in her name, right? Like, that's the way I've always thought. Dany's eulogies are in her name. There's no doubt about it. Like, that's your eulogy. Yeah. I'm the last Targaryen. I am the slave, whatever. I am the queen of Marine, whatever. Right? Like, I am the unburnt. Right? Like, it's in her name. Yeah. That's her eulogy. Like, there's no doubt about that anymore.
Very true, Steffi. I love that, because breaker of chains, mother of dragons, it's all perfect, but not for her to live and sit that throne, because she's Joan of Arc. She'd wreak havoc. There's no way. It just wouldn't work. So for Sansa, though, it would. And I'd like to see that. I want to see Queen Elizabeth sitting there.
Me too.
I feel like Sansa's just too much like that. Like, I want to see her face painted or powdered in white, The Virgin Queen.
Eventually, we'll see Sansa making her own hairdos and not taking hairdos of other women.
Right. Yeah, and going into the Renaissance. It's true. I mean, it changed religion. It changed a lot of things.
Which harkens back to, like, season 1, where she takes on the southern hairstyles and Sansa's queen. Yeah. George R. R. Martin set it up so beautifully. There was 2 people he, like, epically developed in the series. It was Theon and Sansa, where he set them up to develop at certain points in his novel for it to be gradual, for like a more modern world. And I felt that was Theon and Sansa. Yeah.
Oh, me too, because the Ironborn, I feel like, were there first and they forgot, and so it now comes around. Yeah.
Like the Vikings in Canada, no one remembers that they were in Canada, and then history's showing us slowly but surely that they were the ones that taught the natives everything, right? How to hunt seals and do everything, right? No one remembers that.
No, and they were in America too. Now they're finding evidence of that, so they were back and forth all over the place. And they were the others, you know? They really were. They were the barbarians.
Have y'all ever seen a show called, speaking of Vikings, have you seen a show called Pathfinder?
No, I haven't watched
about it's about it's an old movie. It's about the Vikings come to America. There's a big slaughter, and this kid is left alive, and he's raised by the natives, and it's very good.
Oh, that sounds really familiar. I wonder actually if I have.
It's old. It's old, but he becomes the Pathfinder.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. It kind of sounds familiar, but who knows?
You've
I
probably
studied this
seen
stuff so much. But yeah, I mean,
what
I really
else,
do.
ladies?
Yeah, I think I've said all I wanted to.
No predictions?
Predictions?
Oh. What do we think?
Cersei needs to come to terms with what she's done, just like Dany does. They both do. Cersei needs to come to terms with the fact that she basically is the reason why Tommen jumped out the window, is because she killed his love, Marjorie. And she really, lived for her children, but did she? She kind of lived for the prophecy, so she wouldn't die. And I think this might be why she got pregnant again, or let herself get pregnant, because she's stopped it a million times before. So I think Cersei needs to come to terms with it, and I don't know how that'll happen, if it's going to in the show or not. But it just might somehow by Euron. I don't know, because he's so different. He's kind of a mix of a little bit of Victorian in there, maybe. So with that, maybe there's a way that she can actually see what she's done at the last second. I'd like to see that.
I think Cersei's she's got to go. I mean, it's just, and her being the big bad other, I mean, I don't understand, unless the Golden Company do turn the coat, because if the rest of the kingdom finds out what happened at Winterfell, and that there really were the army of the dead, and that Cersei stood by and did nothing, I mean, you would think that the rest of the realm would be kind of pissed. You know what I mean?
I disagree. I think the rest of the realm believes it's fiction. Even despite Cersei seeing it, the rest of the realm didn't see it. They still believe it's a piece of fiction. It doesn't matter to them, right? They're gonna look at the rest of the realm. They're gonna look at the North and be like, "You're fucking crazy," especially with the remnants left of that huge force. It's not even gonna even flinch their thing. They're gonna be like, "Oh, a couple hundred people are fucking vouching for this to happen." Yeah, right. Get out of here.
Well, you may be right on that, Steffi. Yeah, because they've not. That's why I wanted the White Walkers to get down there for Cersei to see them anyway. I wanted the whole realm to realize what was going on, and not just the North to be involved. I mean, it should have been all the realms working together, but it wasn't. And they don't realize just how fortunate they are that Dany came, or that Jon, the North was there to stop the dead where they did. And I think it'll be different in the books, though.
I agree with Cynthia. I think it will be different in the books for sure. I think they're going to abandon Winterfell, like looking how decrepit it is in this episode. I think the best option is the Neck. The neck is where the closest point, right? It's not this huge gap of where Winterfell is, and you can attack from like all sides and do whatever the hell you want from all sides. To me, it makes more sense for it to be Greywater Watch in the books. It makes more sense for them to go seek Howland's counsel and to shoot them down with poison arrows and poison arrows, like dragon glass arrows, and to shoot the whites from there, and then to have this castle that moves around where you can't fucking find it, and ravens can't find it, and people can't find it, and everything, for them to find it at the moment that they need it the most. That makes sense to me. And then for Jon to learn the truth of his heritage outside of Bran and Sam telling him, to be like, yeah, I was there. That's like, that makes more sense to me.
You mean Howland Reed telling? Well,
Yeah.
you know, that's another thing too, because the God's Eye is there, and I'm hoping that we'll see more out of Bran in the next few episodes, the last few episodes. If he couldn't do much, you know, he set up that battle okay. I'm curious to see how he does, because now that he's got all that gone, he can be the eyes and ears for Jon and Dany in the war to come.
Bran doesn't see into the future. That's like one thing we learned, right?
No, he sees what's happening at the time, and he can go back and look at Tyrion and them, and he can look at Cersei and see what's happening and what she's doing. You know, he can be a spy basically.
But how much?
Yeah.
But like Tyrion said, like when he told Sansa, like, oh, I could be up there right now, seeing something that someone else doesn't see. Right? Look at the Battle of the Blackwater. Battle of the Blackwater was just pure fucking luck that you survived. Pure fucking luck. Stannis was at the walls. Yes. He was going to climb over. He was going to slaughter your people if it wasn't for that wildfire and your stupid little plan. Let's be honest.
True. That's true.
So, like, what ended up happening was Tyrion's face was cut in half. What Varys said was true. You died. You almost died during the Battle of the Blackwater. It was pure luck that you almost survived. No matter how much you see into the present, it doesn't matter. The end result is the end result of that battle. Right?
Yeah.
The forces are the forces. Right? And them, they don't have any forces now. They're all fucking dead. The Dothraki are dead. The Unsullied are fucking dead. The North is fucking dead. I'm sorry to put it off like this, but like, who are they gonna call? The Riverlands next? The Vale is dead because of that battle. Because where was Jon Royce? Who the fuck knows where he was? Right? Like harkening back to like hours ago when we were discussing this. But like, there's no one there. There's no one there. Okay, who are you gonna call? Fraser dead. Okay, who are you gonna call? Harrenhal is dead. Okay. Who else is there? What are you gonna who are you gonna call? Dorne's dead. Iron Islands is the only one left. And lucky, you might match. You might match your own ships. You're fucking dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. I mean, unless you take Cersei out by herself, there's really nothing else to do.
Arya.
Right.
She's on the top of the list for sure. But we're gonna do this again next week, right?
Yes, we are. We will be here next Tuesday at 7 Eastern.
Yes, hopefully the channel's up by then.
Right.
I feel so sorry because like Plexi was looking forward to this so much. Like I jumped onto like 2 streams and she was like, "Oh, are you gonna do an episode?" I'm like, "Yeah."
I'm gonna jump on. I'm bummed about that because I just love our girls. They're so great, and Plexi's just awesome. So I hope if you watch this,
I met a bunch of people that I've seen in the chats. Living my Rhapsody, and I got to meet LML, and Shy and Aziz. Well, we've been talking to them for quite a few years, and there's so many others. And I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to thank everybody, and it was great fun. Tara, I want to thank her, and we're gonna have the Winds of Winter and the Long Night series coming up. So we've got a lot to look forward to still, ladies. And you chat, it will be one here or there. Bear with us.
Yep. Reread time. Dunkin' egg time.
Okay, everybody, tell them, give your outros, all right? Ash, you go first.
Okay, thank you to the chat. Thank you to everyone for being here tonight. It's great to be with my ladies again and see all of you. I'm the Iron Underneath, and Father Margolis. See you soon next week.
Steph?
Ballard Harris. All men must serve, right? So, okay, so obviously the chat is kind of barren, but like, like we had to switch channels at the last minute. So I hope everyone that does follow us does end up seeing this. We're sorry about the inconvenience. But we love you all still. Plexi, big, huge shout out. I've missed you. Yeah, so cheers. Hold on, wait. If you can read that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. And like I said, I'm O'Nan. We do have a channel called the She Wolves of Winter. Hope you'll check what we do have there. We've got quite a few videos and quite a few live streams. So be kind and check them out. I thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you for those that see this later. And I hope that everybody can enjoy the season. And we hope to see you back again here next week. God bless. Everybody have a good night.